All right, we're about to dive into a really significant astrological event, Mercury Retrograde in Pisces. It's happening from February 26th to March 20th, 2026. And the theme we're going to explore here, our main focus, is the depth, what that really means, and more importantly, how we can all navigate it. So here's how we're going to break it all down. We'll start with the cosmic sequence to get the big picture. Then we'll get into this idea of the messenger in reverse. After that, we'll talk about what it feels like, communication underwater. And of course, we'll cover the 4 traps to watch out for, and we'll finish up with the 5 opportunities you can really embrace. Okay, let's jump right in. Part 1, a cosmic sequence. This is all about the astronomical setup and the context for everything else. So what are we actually looking at here, astronomically speaking? Well, it all kicks off on February 26, 2026. That's when Mercury looks like it stops in its tracks and starts moving backwards at 21 degrees of Pisces. And that apparent backward dance lasts for 22 days, all the way until March 20th, when it stations direct again at about 8.5 degrees of Pisces.
Now, here's where it gets really interesting. You've got to see the bigger picture. This isn't just a one-off event. It's the first of 3 Mercury retrogrades this year. And check this out. All 3 of them are in water signs. First up is Pisces, then we'll have Cancer, and then Scorpio.
So what this means is that we have this theme that keeps repeating, creating this year-long question that we're all being asked to think about. And what is that question? It's, what is the quality of my life? You know, nobody likes that question. And that's exactly why it keeps coming back.
And listen, this retrograde is not happening in a vacuum. I mean, just look at how packed this time frame is. In just 9 days, we have a solar eclipse on the 17th, then the huge Saturn-Neptune conjunction on the 20th. Then Mercury stations retrograde on the 26th. Mars moves into Pisces on March 2nd, and then a lunar eclipse on March 3rd. It's a lot.
That's 5 major astrological events, all crammed into 9 days. These aren't just isolated things happening. This is a sequence. And, well, sequences have consequences. So let's move on to our second part and see how this all builds. We're calling this the messenger in reverse. It really gets into the paradox of a guide who moves backward. You see, you can think of Hermes, or Mercury, as having 2 very different jobs. There's the fast, witty messenger of the gods. That's the Mercury we're all familiar with. But then there's the other side, the psychopompos, the guide of souls to the underworld. And that's the Mercury we're about to meet. When Mercury is moving direct, the messenger is on duty. But when it goes retrograde, the messenger steps back and the guide of souls takes over. Now, this whole backward motion thing has some seriously counterintuitive effects, especially in places you wouldn't expect. For instance, there was a 2016 study that looked at how Mercury retrograde affects the stock market. You'd expect total chaos, right? But what they actually found was silence. Volatility was significantly lower. And why? Because the belief that this period is dangerous caused investors to pull back, to freeze their activity. And that right there perfectly illustrates this dynamic. The collective anxiety actually calms the market. The belief in chaos produces silence. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, but in reverse. And this feeling of paralysis, that's one of the key traps we're going to talk about in a little bit. This shift also helps us reframe a really old astrological idea. You've probably heard that Mercury in Pisces is in its fall, which supposedly means it's in its weakest position. But that's only one way of looking at it. Fall isn't loss. Fall is a change of medium. Logic doesn't just disappear. It simply shifts to an older, more intuitive language. Which brings us right to part 3, communication underwater. This is all about how to navigate all those unconscious and even pre-verbal signals. So what does this actually feel like in real life? Okay, imagine this. You tell your partner everything's fine, but your tone says the exact opposite. And of course, your partner hears the tone, not the words. You insist on the words, the whole conversation just collapses. Nobody's really at fault, but everyone's hurt. You see, the problem isn't that you can't say what you think. The problem is you don't know what you feel. And that difference, it costs. During this time, your intuition is going to grow, and the signals are going to multiply. But more signals doesn't always mean more clarity. A lot of the time, it just means more noise. These water retrogrades can awaken body memories, those pre-verbal reactions from way back in childhood. The body remembers what the mind can't really articulate. Your dreams might become incredibly vivid, super detailed, just relentless. And you might notice that old projects suddenly get a new spark of life, while new ones just seem to be stuck in the mud.
This is also classic timing for secrets and suppressed emotions to come bubbling up to the surface. And yeah, people always ask, do exes come back? And sure, they can. But it's so important to understand what's really returning. It's usually not the actual person. It's the feeling you buried when they left. That distinction matters. It's not the person who returns. It's what you didn't resolve when they were here.
So our conscious mind is just struggling in this fog, right? And that's when the unconscious decides to take the stage. That misdirected email, that accidental run-in, on the surface, it looks like a mistake, but from the depths, it's a signal. When we're awake, we're confused, but when we're asleep, we get these coded messages. The real question to ask yourself is, what are they saying?
And this whole experience leads us straight into the challenges. So, part 4, the 4 traps. These are the potential pitfalls to watch out for on this journey.
Okay, first up, emotional miscommunication. Your words say one thing, your tone says another, and the person listening hears something else entirely. The second trap is self-deception. And remember, the biggest trap isn't the lies someone else tells you, it's your own need to believe it, and that need can be really, really hungry. Third is paralysis. With all these confusing signals, no decision feels safe. But not deciding, that's a decision too, it's just an unconscious one. And finally, the fourth trap, dissolving boundaries. That urge to sacrifice for others until you basically vanish. Sacrifice without boundaries isn't love, it's disappearance.
But it is not all pitfalls, I promise. Let's shift our focus in this final section, part 5, the 5 opportunities. Let's see how to find the gifts that are hidden in the depth.
So how can we make the absolute most of this period? First, embrace your intuition. It's going to be amplified. And you have to remember that confusion isn't a sign you're doing something wrong. A lot of the time, it's the price of entry. Second, this is a perfect time for spiritual exploration. Just let yourself explore without feeling like you have to commit to one single path. Third, look for a creative rebirth. Let go of perfection. Mass is the start of something new. It's a fantastic time to revisit old projects. Fourth, there's a massive opportunity for emotional healing. And finally, the fifth opportunity is simply to rest. And I don't just mean sleep, but a deep rest from the constant pressure to know and decide.
And that point about emotional healing is just so crucial. Old wounds can come to the surface now, and yeah, it can hurt, but it might also be the only way to move forward. Because a wound that's brought into the light can heal. A wound that's left in the dark, it just grows.
Let's really expand on that fifth opportunity, rest. This goes so much farther than just getting 8 hours of sleep. We're talking about a rest from knowing, a rest from deciding. It's a chance to just step back from the person you have to be every day and truly deeply rejuvenate.
So the final thought I really want to leave you with is this. During this time, a day without making decisions isn't a loss, it's an investment.